welcome to Filmmaker IQ Live, my little live chat streaming thing, where I chat with you. And then I take people's comments saying, hey, what happened to your channel? It used to be huge. And I say, diet and exercise. It's the only secret. It's not that hard. If you want to stop being huge, diet and exercise. No, I mean, I get it. I just found that, unfortunately, other things in life pay better than, than YouTube, so I haven't been able to do a whole lot. But, I mean, I've got an audience here, so let's go ahead and talk to it. Talk to the audience. Hello, Daniel Saldivar from Antonio. Hopefully, I mean, imagine it might be hotter there than it is here. Rigel7, hello, already here. Rigel7 is here, hello. All right, so let's dive into what I was going to talk about. Canada Day. Oh no, tomorrow's Canada Day? I guess suppose it is. So, if you haven't followed my podcast, because why would you? If you are here brand new, basically my rent is going to go up by like $500 a month. And I figured, you know what? I just don't use the space enough to justify spending $2,400 a month in this space. And I can just literally do what I need to do from home. Now that I don't have to, now that my mom doesn't, my mom passed away last year. It's been a year now. I got a lot of free space in my house, and I've got an ability to borrow some money and build out a backyard shed for my office. Why don't I do that? And that way I can literally use the money I spend on rent and pay toward, an office space in my own backyard and make my backyard wonderful instead of the crap that it has been for all these years, and take my mom's old room and clean that out and turn that out into a temporary edit bay, and then once the shed is built, then I move everything down to the shed. So that's what's happening. So I am in the process of moving all this out here, 1,600 square foot studio. I'm tossing a lot of this stuff. It's not going to be the same setup. I'm not going to do like the screen. I'm not going to build a video wall because I'm trying to keep. I do want to keep money down. I want to keep the money to a reasonable level here. But I am going to be building all this stuff out, and I could, by paying it off every month, paying the loan, even though the interest rates are out of this world, in 5 years I could pay it off for less money than I am paying for rent here, in which case I don't own anything, and on top of that, the landlords are kind of like idiots and kind of stupid and useless. So they called me this week and they say, hey, is there any chance you can leave earlier? And what we'll do is we'll prorate your rent, and that way you don't have to pay that much, and you can get out earlier, and we can give it to a potential client or potential renter. I'm like, okay, I could save $1,200, right? I could save $1,200 doing this. Like, okay, I'll try. So I get a fire under my butt to go and like really clean out so right now I have a 120 square foot shed in my backyard, and it's full of crap. Well, it was full of crap. I got some fire put underneath my butt, so I went and cleaned out like half of it. I just cleaned out a little bit more today, so it's about, I'd say 80% of the big crap is gone. Like I only have a little bit of crap in there now, and I have to vacuum it and do all the final cleaning. So I'm almost there with it. Hello from Istanbul. How you doing? Say hi to you guys. So I'm almost done cleaning out my 120 foot shed, and in there I'm going to be keeping my grip stuff. So I want to keep my C-stands and lightning stands and just like heavy duty equipment that's not like particularly expensive necessarily, but it's not I don't want it out in the elements, right? So that put a fire under my butt, but I also got really overwhelmed, because even though that's starting to clean up, the studio is still like 30-40% done. And there's still a lot more, and there's a lot of it I'm going to throw away, but still I'm looking at it now and I'm just feeling like overwhelmed. This whole set needs to be taken apart. I'm going to save the TVs in the back, but I'm going to just basically trash the set probably, and I mean I'll keep all the cool stuff things and cool little tchotchke stuff. So I'll definitely keep all of that. So I am doing that. Well, I got super pressured. And then last week I had like 3 jobs, like 3 editing jobs and to actually work paying stuff. So I was starting to get a little freaked out. And then, but I was like, well, I'm saving $1,200. I'm saving $1,200. And luckily, so they had a client come in and look at it, and they were kind of like, you guys told us this had a wet bar. You said this was exactly the same as the other site that you were showing me. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's the same. It's the same square footage. It's like, no, this doesn't have a wet bar. Like this office doesn't have a wet bar. Like that's not the same thing. So they were a little upset with the dude, rightfully so, because honestly, my landlord's kind of an idiot. I'm sorry. I already put the check in the mail, so they've annoyed me in that like I had a air conditioning duct that was loose, and they wouldn't help me out with that. That was really really irritating. So whatever. So so anyhow, whatever. The client's like, well, we need to move in July 1st, and they're like, well, we can't really kick him out July 1st because it's too soon. And I'm like, yeah. So they're like, okay, well, we'll make you pay the whole month, and you can stay till the end of the month. I'm like, I don't get a say in that. So they reneged on it, which honestly, blessing in disguise. I am so much better off if I'm not trying to move out of here in like 2 weeks, because on top of that, next week is July 4th, or tomorrow is Canada Day, right? So we got Canada Day coming. And I want to I got a lot of work because I cover a lot of like events for July 4th. So I got to be shooting a lot the next few days. Plus tomorrow I'm doing like a lake thing. So there's a lot of work to do this week. I think it'll tone down a little bit the following week. It'll give me a chance to spend like 2 weeks to really break it down, and then a week to kind of wrap it up. And I think that'll be fine. And my birthday's in there too, but whatever. Who cares about my birthday? I don't give a crap. I'd rather get this stuff done, right? So, like I think today I moved a lot of crap out of that shed. So I think I'm gonna go to the store after this and get some stock up on some food, and I think that's gonna be my day for today. I don't think I'm gonna do any more. Yesterday I was at the county fair. My friend wanted to go to the county fair. I've never been to the county fair, so I've never experienced a fair before. I thought the fair was awesome. Like I kind of feel like the only thing the fair is missing is a film festival element, because they've got like competitions for, they've got like livestock. You got people coming in livestock, get blue ribbons for livestock. They've got they had a fine art display, so I looked at a bunch of fine art. There's a photography competition, so they gave awards for photography. They had, which I thought was beautiful, these flowers. They had a competition for flowers, so these amazing, gorgeous dahlias and flower arrangements that were just spectacular. Like I couldn't believe it. Right, they're so beautiful. Like it just opened my eyes. I like the art thing, because I've been kind of like digging. I've been kind of jumping into doing painting. It's one of those things where after my breakup, I wanted to do something out there and artistic, and I signed up for an art class, and I started doing acrylic painting, and I'm kind of like hanging out with the art crowd. So it's like filmmaker IQ crowd is like film people that want to do films, but I mean that want to do stuff in the film world, and then the art class is kind of people that are in the art world that want to be professional artists too. So it's I kind of recognize like the personality types, right? Art's a little different than filmmaking, and the art you can do by yourself. Filmmaking requires a lot of different people to be involved. But yeah, definitely. So yeah, anyway, one point with that was like, wow, I was really digging the whole fair thing where people could submit their photos, and I was like, well, I should be thinking about submitting photos and being part of the competition next year, and like just at least submitting stuff, so I could just say I submitted stuff. It'd be fun. And I took my new Fujifilm GFX 50 out there, the 2, and I looked at the photos, and I'm very, very happy with the photos. The photos I took were very touristy walk-around photos. So I did try to capture what I try to capture, but they're not, like, my style is not, I don't like street photography that much. Like, I mean, I do when I see good street photography, but like to me, it's not my, like, I don't operate in that sense. Like, I mean, I'll go out and maybe I'll get like one or two really spectacular good photos. But that street photography is not my thing. I really want to do portrait style photography and people, and I particularly love people and even like bodies. Okay, nude art is something I love, but I didn't see any nude art at the competition, so probably not going to be submitting that stuff. But if I do, like artistic concepts, I think that would probably sell. So I am totally into it. So yeah, that's the thing. Let me respond to a couple comments here that I received come through. Premnab says, "Do you watch modern day Indian films, Hindi or Bengali language, or watch classics by Indian legends?" I haven't watched anything right now. I don't have the time to watch anything, but I really just watch American films, honestly. I mean, not to be like offensive to anybody, but it just foreign films don't necessarily have an interest on me right now. I've got so much stuff that my backlog of things to watch is pretty deep. I mean, I guess foreign if you're talking about British films, but I mean, nothing against watching like Apu trilogy and stuff like that. I just haven't had time to watch anything at all. Daniel Saldivar says, "Best move, honestly." It absolutely is. What am I drinking? I'm not drinking anything, actually, and that sucks because it's hot in here, and I probably need to. I'm only going to be on here for about probably another 45 minutes because I need to get out and go get before Costco closes, and Costco closes pretty early on Sundays because, as you know, Costco. I love you. Hey, says Jack D. Ripper. I'll just follow that with boobies for the win. I am in agreement with Chris Gore in that Chris Gore believes that boobies will unite the world in peace, and everything, everyone, everything, everywhere, all at once will rejoice in the boobies. Boobies are the most amazing thing. Good evening. What do you think of how Disney Plus screwed up the frame rate of the Muppet Show? I talked about this in the comment section. So the frame rate of the Muppet Show is going to be a very interesting concept because the Muppet Show was broadcast in 60i. So probably every recording of the Muppet Show, I mean, I don't know if they have the film masters because obviously they probably shot a lot of it on film at 24. I don't know if those if they're going back to the original masters at 24 frames a second, or if they're going off of like tapes of Muppet Show. Again, I don't have Disney Plus, and I don't really watch them. I've never watched the Muppet Show, so I don't have like a dog in that fight either way. But just realize that when you're dealing with something like the Muppet Show, there probably exists two different formats, right? And if the frame rate is based on like a tape master, then it would be 60i, and if it's based on the film masters, if they have those, then you would probably get 24. It's always interesting when you watch something like I Love Lucy and pulling up I Love Lucy episodes, and they're 24 because they have those original film negatives or mastered film. But I don't know if that's the case with the Muppet Show. Like as far as I've seen, everything with the Muppet Show has that very kind of old, like low budget kind of film look to it. So I don't know if they're going off of tape or film on those. So, and Disney Plus, have they been known for being good at like remastering old shows? Because I remember The Simpsons had everything in 16:9 when it was 4:3 back in the day. So. Ed, so would I ever want to be a director for a full feature film? Absolutely, I would. What would it be about? Probably a comedy or a romantic comedy. I absolutely would want to direct a film. It's just the problem is money. It's like so yes, you can make a film like in a couple weekends with your buddies and shoot it, and do it really cheaply and do it for less than $1,000. But the thing is, I don't want to make those kinds of movies, and I don't want my movies to look the way those kind of movies look. Like I want to have a little more, polish to it. I keep telling myself I'm going to do a short film with a lot of polish in terms of cinematography, because it's something that I haven't been able to do, honestly. I haven't been able to sit down and say, okay, we're going to take this day and just shoot this one scene. We're going to get it absolutely perfect, just this one scene. Like my day, when I shoot a short film, it's like I got to shoot like 5 scenes in a day, and it's like we got only 2 hours to shoot the scene. So yeah, I would love to take the time to polish something. That's really what I want to do. I don't need to fill the internet with yet another crappy, low budget movie that looks terrible kind of thing. But that's also probably the biggest reason why I haven't made a feature film was because I've got that want to make it a certain way. And part of me's got to like accept the fact that hey, if you're an indie filmmaker, you don't have the luxury of spending all day working on one scene. If you want to do this, if you want to be able to do this, you need to be able to do it efficiently, quickly, and get what you need. Because ultimately, the story is what's going to attract people. Because there's no way you can afford to compete with Hollywood visually because you don't have the money. So you need to compete with it through story, through excitement, through that kind of organic grassroots approach, which makes a lot of sense. Anyhow. Thoughts on the new Nosferatu, Robert Eggers in general? Well, Robert Eggers would be definitely a good choice for a Nosferatu movie, that's for sure. I like Robert Eggers. I like The Witch is obviously my favorite movie of his. Wasn't as in love with The Lighthouse. And to me, the Northman, was relatively forgettable. It was more, Northman felt like a psychedelic, like no one's talking about the Northman, right? No one talks about that movie. It's not. I don't see it in cinemaphile circles, so I just don't think it connected with people. I mean, the Lighthouse definitely connected with a lot more people than the Northman. So we'll see if he takes on Nosferatu and is able to like tap into that certain thing. Except for Godzilla -1, I think you were referencing boobies. Except for Godzilla -1, maybe that's what it was. Godzilla -1 has the second most important. So boobies will unite the world, and young babies will unite the rest of the world. Like I can't watch Godzilla -1 and see that little girl cry and not have my heart just ripped in half. By the way, I went and shot they did a movies in the park. Well, the city of Lake Elsinore. And we don't have any footage of movies in the park, like no footage. So every time they mention movies in the park, I'd have nothing to show. So I'm going to go shoot some footage. I don't care if they don't tell me to make. I'm just going to go shoot it. I'm going to bill them. Okay, I'll bill them like an hour, and it won't be much. And they're showing up, and I'm like, well, I'll stick around for the movie. So good thing that you have to wait till it gets dark because you can't show a movie in the park without it being dark. It's a good thing it's dark because my eyes started crying in anticipation of that beginning scene. Like I was like just going into it, my eyes are starting to get moist. I'm like, oh no, here comes that scene from Up. Oh gosh. And I'm just marveling at like Up is such an amazing triumph of animation, right? It's like such a beautiful, the opening sequence is so wonderfully animated, and then and I stuck around for for the rest. I stuck around for half of it. Then it got too cold for me because I was wearing shorts. I was wearing actually what I'm wearing today, so this is a very thin shirt. So I was freezing, and I'm like, well, I'll just go home because it's like 9:30, and I'm freezing. But just the animation of the movie is just so good. I think I said this before some other time that Up has a very emotional beginning. Right, it breaks your heart in the beginning, and then it becomes kind of a cartoon adventure. It's really good. It's a really good cartoon adventure, but nothing has that same emotional impact that the first few minutes has. Coco, on the other hand, has emotional beginning, and then it has this fun comic, cartoon animated middle, and then a wallop of an ending. Right, so whereas Up is like very front loaded, Coco is almost very back loaded. Like that emotional wallop happens at the end. And so that reason I haven't watched Coco in years because, boy, am I going to really freaking cry, especially now that my mom has passed away. Oh, so Muppet Show was shot on tape. Disney screwed up the frame rate by eliminating the frame rate to make it 24. Are you sure about that? Because it doesn't look like tape. I'm gonna check it up here. Muppet Show original. I mean, you might be right. It might very well be like might very well have been shot on tape. Let's see here. I'm just looking at Disney Plus's little video here, and they do in fact have it at 24 frames a second. But It might have been shot on. It might be shot. It might have been shot on film, because if you, I mean, I don't know. The reason why I would say it might be shot on film is oftentimes a lot of these shows were, especially because it's not like Muppet Show probably wouldn't have been shot. I mean, there may be segments that were shot on tape, like if they had studio audiences. Again, I'm not convinced. Well, no, that part looks like it's shot on tape. I'm looking at a couple of things here. Well, no, that shot, because it was a composited shot, that's definitely not shot on tape. That would have been shot on film. So I'm not convinced it's shot on tape, honestly, because I don't think tape has that look. There are certain things, there's certain like chromatic aberration that makes it look like it's shot on tape. Let's take a original show shot on tape. Let's see if it's. Let's see. Somebody on Reddit says no. Things were being taped on video cassette back then. It didn't make much difference to the TVs. Wikipedia says it was taped, but didn't provide a source. I'm not entirely sure. Fraggle Rock was shot on cassette tape, but we'll never. Okay. They were shot on tape, not film. So only looking back, so good. Even though it wasn't shot on film, probably shot on higher definition. These are not good answers. Like, this is not. What makes you think it was shot on film? Pee-wee's Playhouse was shot on film. Monty Python were filmed in London on videotape. So, no, Monty Python was half shot on film, half on tape. I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't know the Muppet Show was filmed in England. That's interesting. So, good. I don't know. But the thing is, I don't know if it's shot on film or tape. I would imagine some of it was shot on film, because the video, some of the special effects I saw, like compositing, would not be possible shooting it on video, especially in the 80s. But again, I might be talking out of my butt. Let's see what we were saying. Frame rate's been changed as well. It doesn't sound good. Saying that these set DVDs. Yeah. Just looking. I mean, I'm just looking at looking at some of the. The reason I would say. What's this one? I'm just looking at this one. This is a 60 hertz one. That definitely looks like that 60 hertz kind of thing. Maybe it probably was shot on. Probably a lot of it was shot on tape. Probably like Monty Python. Some of it was shot on tape. Some was shot on film, depending on what the needs were. A particular shot that they were doing. So what do I think about that? Well, as a 24 FPS devotee, I don't mind necessarily, but they probably they probably should have just stuck to 30. So there you go. There's that. Speaking of format, why don't we hear much on the controversy with changing 4:3 aspect ratio? I think we do. We heard it from heard it from the Simpsons folks, because it actually cuts a lot of jokes out of the thing because you can't see the whole frame. Disney has MASH at 16:9. Ew. Gosh. Yeah, exactly. They lose the joke, right? Like some of the Simpsons episodes had the joke in the bottom part of the frame. You couldn't see it. Anybody watch the Critical Drinkers movie? He has a movie. Is it about Svetlana? There's a Critical Drinker on a movie out. Oh, anyhow, did you guys watch the Red Letter Media video about all the Acolyte stuff? That was kind of interesting. What is your favorite LA vibe movie? I love this question. You know what it is? Okay, so a couple movies that I think are very LA. Not that I like. I mean, I haven't been to LA in years, and I don't really have a desire to go into LA because LA is kind of nasty. But L.A. The two movies, L.A. Story, the Steve Martin movie, is very good for an L.A. Story. I'm just looking it up. L.A. Story, Steve Martin, Sarah, the horse face. What's her name? Sorry, Sarah Jessica Parker. I know it's a joke. It's a joke, people. L.A. Story is like a really true to the kind of L.A. that was L.A. in like the '90s, right? So that's a very L.A. Story is very apropos. Another not a show, not a movie, but a show is Bosch. Bosch to me has the most like legitimately what LA feels like, what modern LA feels like, right? Like I think Bosch show. And if you don't know what Bosch is, it's a crime procedural about a detective named Bosch, and he basically he solves crimes, and he has like this place in New York and L.A. And it has it the way L.A. is presented in Bosch feels like the way really how L.A. looks. All right. I hate movies like La La Land, which portray LA in a completely wrong, like that's not LA, that's a fictional LA. Bosch is what real LA looks like, even though it's a more upscale LA. But Bosch to me feels very, very LA. I don't know what you guys throw in your comments in there. Do you need to drive to go where you want to shoot? Well, for my backyard studio, it'll be right in my backyard for when I do like Filmmaker IQ videos, live streams, and whatever, like models, portrait photography, and all that. But yeah, otherwise, right now, I don't use the studio for shooting except for these podcasts. It's the only thing I shoot in my studio is podcasts. So there's literally no reason why I should be paying $2,400 a month to do that. So, Rigel 7 says, with lights out, it's less dangerous. Not sure what that is, but do you know that the Cannes Festival this year had the first American to win Palme d'Or since 2011? Sean Baker for Nora winning this year. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Here we are now. Entertain us. I will. I made it again. Mathen Magalia. I wonder if the Muppet issue was that it was shot on 20 in the UK. That could be it. Yeah, so it would have been 25 frames a second. So they probably maybe they say, well, 25, 24, close enough. Huh. Or I wonder even if you get even crazier, if it's shot in the UK, did they shoot 25 and then when they brought it to the US, they had to convert the 50 to 60. So that would have been even crazier. The fact of the matter is all that frame rate stuff is so niche that only I think I might be the only person that anybody would even bring this up to, because I think I was going through that Reddit posting. I feel like half of those answers were incorrect. So, like, I think no one really cares outside of this little bubble right here. No one cares. Ed Savant said, I forget who says, maybe Hitchcock or Scorsese. Cinema is the three ultimate entertainment: theater, music, color, art, story, and experience. Is the ultimate entertainment. Yeah, I agree. Although you would add modern people would add gaming to that list here. And that would make sense too, because gaming involves participation. So I think, and like when we talk about art forms, and I know I get an argument sometimes with people that are saying, oh, movies and TV games are so much better than movies. Like, no, or that movie frame rate should emulate games because everyone's watching games, right? And there's a big difference between gaming and movies and cinema as an art form. As gaming is participatory, and movies are voyeuristic, for you, not non-participatory, but they're voyeur versus being active participant in the game. So there's two completely different ways of interacting with media. So therefore, completely different needs as far as like the technology. Yeah, The Simpsons, The Wire, Sopranos, other prestige shows had been cut. We're talking about 4:3, converting it to 16:9. Yep. Do you know what aspect ratio when filming Ernest Scared Stupid? Probably 1.85. We can always find that out. The incredibly important movie Ernest Scared Stupid Just go to IMDb, and then you go into the production info. I think I can probably click on. I don't know if I have Pro or not. I don't want to. I don't want to join. $95. I don't want to do that. I don't care that much. But somewhere in IMDb, I hate the way IMDb is just, you can't understand anything, what's going on. But in IMDb, there is somewhere where you can see like the production box out, where you can see actual stuff about it. And I would be willing to bet it's 1.85. Details. Here we go. Details, production companies. Can I just see all the details? Let me first hit edit. Yeah, doesn't show you all the details. I hate IMDb. It's just it's got to be such a terrible like setup. Technical specs. Here it is. Aspect ratio, 1.85 to 1. There's your answer. And you thought that was a stupid question. If Johnny Guitar was released today, the Critical Drinker crowd would be outraged by it. I don't even know what Johnny Guitar is. I gotta look up Johnny Guitar. Have you seen, Matthews, have you seen the Red Letter Media video? It's pretty good. I'm on the Acolyte. Oh, John Crawford and Johnny Guitar. After helping a wounded gang member, a strong-willed female saloon owner is wrongly suspected of murder and bank robbed by a lynch mob. Johnny Guitar. I don't know. So I think I was talking to a friend about this the other day. When people come around and do like certain kinds of criticism, right? And I'll take it like Red Letter Media, for example. They started with their Plinkett reviews Star Wars, and they have these long hours, of commentary about Star Wars, but they're trying to make a point, and they're trying to make a good video out of it. And then they have massive success. And then everyone sees their massive success, and they see, oh, they're making fun of Star Wars. If I want to be successful, I can make fun of Star Wars. And then they start copying it. So every time and those people become kind of successful, and then another crowd says, oh, those people are making fun of Star Wars. Let me make fun of Star Wars as well, and do like a 17-hour video about why the Phantom Menace sucked. And they see that, and they get sick. So it becomes kind of like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. Every Frame of Painting is a great series of videos, and there are a lot of people that are kind of copying onto that. And the thing is, like, a lot of people, what people do when they copy, they copy not necessarily the essence of what makes that thing popular. They try to copy the form. It becomes performative, right? So, I mean, it happened to me, right? I've produced those Filmmaker IQ videos, and they're popular. Although most people didn't copy me, but there's a lot of people that did make, like, they make their own videos about, like, exposure triangle, right? Without really understanding what exposure triangle was. It became like exposure triangle videos sort of became like its own genre, where people would they would see like, oh, someone's having success on YouTube making these filmmaking videos. I want to copy that and make my own exposure triangle video. I mean, I've screened exposure triangle videos where the guy is motor mouthing through it, and like you would not understand what there was being said unless you already understand what the exposure triangle was, right? So what I'm saying is this. All these copies of stuff, and then eventually it's the same again. Same if you want to think of it in terms of like Jaws. Like I remember I do teach this in my class as the horror cycle, right? When something starts off as a sincere thing, it gets copied, and then ultimately becomes like sort of a parody on itself. Anyhow, so yeah, I mean, I still regard Critical Drinker in a positive light, although I see like his buddies to me start to look a little more and more like just hangers-ons, and they just, I want to be angry and red-pilled and fight woke Hollywood, and they're gonna go broke kind of thing. And they just like, I have a friend who just like he it's the weirdest thing. He's like the most like traditionalist conservative guy that I know, like super uptight, very. I'm proper, and I'm not going to appear on your YouTube videos because I can't imagine what that would do to my reputation. Anyhow, but and he's not watching this because he's probably in another country, and right now, and he reads like the Daily Wire. He's a Daily Wire subscriber, and he reads. It's the weirdest thing. He's so proper, but he's like among my friend group. He's the one that's always on his phone, like all the time on his phone, always skimming through articles, either Daily Wire, Google News, or whatever it is. And he's like, and I told him I went and saw Inside Out 2. I went and saw Inside Out 2. It's like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of controversy brewing over that movie. I mean, there's a lot of controversy over that. It's so woke. I'm like, what are you talking about? I saw the movie. It's not woke at all. There's no wokeness to it. So anyhow, it's like that's because he reads the stuff, and it's like they just want your attention, man. They just want you to like click rage bait. You're like, oh, did you believe the new Disney movie trying to make our kids gay? Trying to make the frogs gay? You know, Disney's trying to make my frogs gay. Have you seen the Princess and the Frog? I mean, that's freaking gay. So yeah. So anyhow, I don't know where we're going with that, other than to say that Johnny Guitar would be outraged by Johnny Guitar. Let's go back. Well, the Muppet Show was 50i, but it wouldn't have been shown in America at 50i. I care about frame rate as much as I care about AI, another overhyped marketing gimmick, a tool with decent potential. I have very different opinions about AI and frame rate. Vastly different. If I had a red, I'd probably never make anything. No idea why I would pick why to pick one widescreen over another. If I had a red, I'd probably never make anything. Why not? Make something. So generally speaking, here's my approach. If I'm making a serious like if I want the movie to have an epic feel, like a big feel or a dramatic feel, I would go for the widers, the 2.39 scope. Like that's kind of like the aspect ratio I would prefer. And and there's probably some people that are very purist about that and think that, well, if you shoot 2.39 scope, you should use an anamorphic lens to achieve that, because that's otherwise you're faking it. But I'm okay with the 2 point. I would love to shoot anamorphics. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. But if I'm making something that's more friendly, it's more a comedy, I would do the 1.85 or 16:9 just to make it easy. IMDb 2000, my favorite site. Then they effed it up. Man, I don't know if you guys have experience like actually uploading stuff to IMDb. It is the worst. I remember trying to update my own IMDb back in the day, and it was like 2005, and it felt like it was a website from the 1990s. It's that old, that just old and clunky feeling. So, the last Plinkett review 50 minutes are about politics and what do they think of the TV answer. Meh. That's great. That's what I think. I think that's what was really good about their commentary. Because I think they weren't excited. They didn't have deep feelings about the Acolyte one way or the other. But to me, they talked about what they found more fascinating, which is the kind of hype train around it, which I appreciated more, because all I heard was how terrible the movie was, and I saw the clip, and yes, it was, the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. Do you think that film criticism should be objective or subjective, or a bit of both? I think film criticism should be subjective, because I don't believe film criticism can be objective. I don't think there is such a thing as objectivity in film criticism at all. I think other than just the movie is 184 minutes long, it is shot in color, it has an aspect ratio of 1.85, and it stars the following people. That's objective film criticism. Okay, that's objective film, right? I don't believe actual film criticism can be objective at all. I think everything is subjective. I never took the film theory stuff, but you've got feminist theory, you've got queer theory, you've got all different lenses to put on watching films. I was just listening to a podcast about the male gaze, which is something I understand, but I also kind of test in the way it presents things. So I think all film criticism is some sort of subjectivity. And I think I like what Kermode was saying was, film criticism almost like journaling. It's like, I saw this movie, here's what I thought about the movie. Now, if I tell you what I thought about the movie, I'm communicating my opinions, and I'm kind of I'm collecting my thoughts together to present them to you guys as sort of a way to communicate who I'm about and what I think, and it's a reflection of me. It's not necessarily a reflection of the movie. Now, what I might do in that process, and why you would want to watch that, is because I might alert you to something that you like. Like, okay, so here's to illustrate what I'm trying to say. Why would you do that? Because you follow me, or whoever it is, me or Roger Ebert when he was still alive, or whoever, because you thought his opinions on movies was good and kind of similarly matched yours. If you found a movie reviewer who absolutely had the worst taste in movies, you wouldn't listen to his reviews, because you're like, that dude has the worst taste in movies, and every time I watch something he recommends, I hate it. Every time he hates something, I watch it, I love it. So therefore, I don't in my own advancing my own journey of film watching and admiration, I don't want to listen to this guy. So that's what film criticism to me is. It's more of a journaling kind of thing, and it reflects the relationship you have with the film critic, right? And again, it's not objective at all. There's nothing objective about it other than the mere runtime and who's in it and that kind of stuff. That's objective, but everything about the movie itself is completely subjective. Yep, and Count for Comment echoes that. Critics like Ebert consider us a journalist and a critic. Yep. Plinkett Star Wars videos were decent fun, but also so close-minded and so full of bad faith. It's a statement that you have to follow storyline rules unless you're Kubrick Lynch. The conservative crowd really overrates how much of the audience cares about politics of the film. And Inside Out was a juggernaut success. Yeah, the thing is, though, so the thing with Inside Out, it was partly the conservatives that were kind of hyping the gay train, but it's also the gay folks, like the gay mafia folks, that were saying this is queer, this is a queer mascot right here, and so they essentially fed on each other. It's sort of like I used to always say the person that raises the most money for the Republicans is AOC. Like, Republicans need AOC. Like, I think the Republicans, if they're smart, and they probably do, want to keep AOC in Congress, because if she goes, then who are they going to raise money to try to fight, right? So in this sense, it's like the gay mafia and the right wing conservative media holding hands, oh, Inside Out is controversial, and when no one that saw it's like, no, it's not controversial at all. The Fox grandeur in the 30s with 70mm 2:1 aspect ratio with Great Depression made it failed to catch on. John Wayne debuted the Big Train for 30 was Fox grandeur film. Yep. I keep getting crap for not mentioning Fox grandeur in my aspect ratio video, but grandeur didn't catch on, so it was like, I don't think we should talk about it. I ask because I feel like a lot of conservative critics are objective in their criticism, like Mahler, and so Mahler will do that. Shapiro will definitely say or Matt Walsh for sure. Matt Walsh is kind of annoying in that sense. This movie is just objectively bad, people. It's objectively bad. It's like, no, it's not. Well, so one of the things that Jordan Peterson, who's also in that sphere now, talks about how conservatives have basically a personality trait where their trait openness is very low. So they're not open to new experiences. They're not open to novel experience, right? And if you think about a conservative, I'm talking about the word conservative, not political meaning. A conservative is by definition someone who's not open to novel experience. And, a conservative is not going to go I think I'm just going to go skydiving today. That's not what a conservative would we need to get home at 9 p.m. and I need to have my glass of warm milk and I'm going to go to bed. That's what a conservative lifestyle is, right? So I think with somebody like Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Mahler, I don't know that well. I mean, I just know him from the Friday night or his doings with Critical Drinker. They tend to be very. I'm not even counting Mahler. I'm saying Shapiro and Matt Walsh, very this is the way it is. It's objectively true. This is the way it is. Music has to have these things. This is the way it is. And you can see why that is. Now, there's a modern day politically right movement is less Like they used to say that punk rock was more left wing because punk rock was like anti-Thatcher and anti, Reagan got caught up in that. I mean, okay, I'm talking about my ass, so don't go crazy on me. But it sort of became that punk rock became swung more to the right now. So like South Park. So because once the liberal media, liberal like leaders took over, now to be anti-establishment, you have to be right-leaning. So like it's South Park and things like that. Now I don't think Critical Drinker is somebody that like the classic traditional conservative would latch onto, but it is what it is now, right? Cinema Sins. Cinema Sins is an example of what it means to take something and then run it to the ground. Completely run it to the ground. CinemaScope forced filmmakers to rethink compositions. You can't create vertical contrast like Academy ratio. Top, it's so close. Yeah, so Scorsese also said that you can't frame a close-up in CinemaScope. Scorsese said 4:3 was designed. I mean, it worked out that way that the 4:3 format Academy ratio could really frame a close-up. If you think about it, it's true. Like, think of Casablanca. You can't get that Casablanca framing in anything but Academy ratio. Like, CinemaScope does not allow you to do that. Instead, you get if you want to do close-up, you either do you end up doing something closer to Good, Bad, and the Ugly, where it's like just the eyes, just just this, just that, just that. So, yeah. Jack River says, yeah, that's what I was referencing Matt and Trey Parker talking about. To be punk in Hollywood is to be conservative. It's to be a Republican in Hollywood is now to be like, shh. We don't talk about responsible fiscal spending here. Shh. We don't talk about maybe the a merit-based system of hiring. No, we don't. Yeah, criticism would completely agree that's subjective. I agree, yeah. And so in that essence, when you watch reviews by Ben Shapiro and by Matt Walsh, I'm picking on those guys because I figure I view them as the most rigid and staunch in their movie criticism whenever they do movie criticism, which is not very often. But when you read their criticisms or you listen to their criticisms, you just take that lens of understanding where they're coming from. That's who they are. Like Ben Shapiro, of course, would go after the Barbie movie. In what world would Ben Shapiro like the Barbie movie? Like what possible world would he be able to say, it wasn't that bad. I get what they're coming from. Like I'm trampling over some topics like audience capture, right? Like if Ben Shapiro came out and said, that Barbie movie, I get where they're coming from. I disagree with it politically, but it's kind of cute and I kind of get what they're going with it. Like his audience would just drop him, right? Because they wouldn't care about that. Yeah, James Wood has entered the chat. Exactly. James Woods. I just remember him from the Simpsons cameo he did where he's like, it's like, yes, I had to travel back in time because I'm researching a small role in Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, he's a good one. There's a difference between a conservative and reactionary. Those media landscapes are more the latter than the former. These media scans are more the latter or the former. Are you talking about the former? Because I think most of what's going on online is reactionary. It's not conservative. Let's see if you guys follow up on that. Movie-wise, last video is pretty good. It's called Learn to See and Love Invisible Directing. It's great defense of Joseph I. Mankiewicz as a great director, often dismissed as just functional. That's a good point. Let me go ahead and talk about that a little bit. And Matthew says a follow-up. Critics often say that Mankiewicz's films are carried by his great writing to make up for the uninspired directing. Movie-wise argues that Mankiewicz's staging is fantastic and that's cinematic enough. So the question I think I want to throw at you guys is, we all know directors that have an auteur-like following or auteur convey themselves as auteurs. We know, Why is the brain just not working today? Fincher. David Fincher, you know what you're going to get with David. Like, he has a style and a look of David Fincher. Wes Anderson, you know what you're going to get with Wes Anderson, right? To some extent, someone like, I'm trying to think of one that's a little, Tim Burton. Okay, so to some extent, you know what kind of you're going to get with Tim Burton, right? So these have very auteur flavors. But there are a lot of directors out there, far more that are far outweigh the celebratory kind of like auteurist stylistic auteur filmmakers. There's a lot of great directors out there making great movies that you wouldn't recognize their style. Like I wonder, like think of, so here's one that I'm thinking of that is like kind of an obvious example, and I'm trying to remember his name. Dang it. Rob Reiner. Like Rob Reiner, as from a director's standpoint, what would you think of Rob Reiner? And there's nothing to think about. I mean, there's not really there's not anything that Rob Reiner necessarily brings. Like, he might bring a certain taste in the kind of movies he makes and the projects he works on, but as from a directorial standpoint, he doesn't hit you in the face with a stylistic style, right? So Rob Reiner can be someone that is not, and I'm thinking Princess Bride, right? Everyone loves that movie. They don't automatically think Rob Reiner, right, that directed it. So what I'm trying to say with that is, yeah, I like the idea. I like the title, the Learn to See and Love Invisible Directing. Like sometimes in directing just needs to just get out of the way for the story to exist. And as indie filmmakers, we tend to want to have directing kind of surface to the bubble up to the surface. Ron Howard, there you go. Ron Howard's another example, right? Ron Howard's picks great projects, but he kind of disappears, and the project comes, and the project is about the project, and the project becomes the movie's about what's really cool. The mockumentary style and Spinal Tap was pretty revolutionary. Absolutely, I use that in my class where I talk about documentaries. Because the final project is a documentary, and I tell them, well, documentary. Don't think it's not just Ken Burns. And of course, like only one student in the classroom will know who Ken Burns is. Like we're that far removed from Ken Burns. But like I said, tell me, you can do a Ken Burns documentary. You can do like a YouTube style documentary. You can do, like any kind of documentary you want. I leave it open to everybody. Patrick A. Williams has a video called "How to Analyze Movies." I think I watched a little bit of that. Yeah. So fascinating discussion. I always enjoy getting into these philosophical topics here. William Wyler and David Lean are directors that are auteurs that auteurs had it against them. Wyler's reputation in general suffered, and Wyler said, "Auteurs never forgive me for directing Ben-Hur." Yeah, there you go. Sidney Lumet, yeah, very underrated auteur. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not. I think. Those, I mean, if you were to take an auteur theory approach to that, they would be more like the way they approach the story and the type of stories that they do, the type of projects they do, in which they, I get, but then again, there's a thing called journeyman, right? A journeyman director is one that is basically hired. It's a gun for hire. Like you hire them to direct a episode of CSI. And then on the next episode, he's directing a low budget movie for Miramax or whatever. I'm just making stuff up. And next he's doing this horror movie over here. So, journeymans can be, they can float in and out through all kinds of. Personally, I'd rather be a journeyman than be held to a particular style. I mean, to do a comedy and then do a horror movie and then do an action film, it's the anti-typecasting, right? You get to do whatever you want. Lumet was also one of the auteurs that auteurs weren't fans of. Yeah, I don't know. Isn't that crazy how basically like anything, whenever you bring cliques of people together, people just start acting cliquey. Like the Pauline Kael's versus the what's his name, Sandista. I remember Soderbergh saying that he is anti-auteur. He doesn't want to have a specific style and will change his style according to the story and make himself disappear. That's cool. I'm down with that. Like Soderbergh, yeah, he does definitely floats in and out here and there. All right, so we always end up on these topics. I love it. Oh man, okay. I mean, I don't want to bring up AI, but I was just watching some of these AI videos, and I gotta say, you know what? I'm going to show you one. And so I just want to preface this with the idea like, hey, John, you're going to be out of a job because AI is going to replace your ass like right away because it's so good these days. It's going to just take over and you'll be sorry that you didn't jump on the AI train because you're so sad. Boo hoo, AI is so good. AI is so wonderful, right? Well, wait till you watch this video. All right, see, I'm going to pull this over here. This is a video. I'm going to pull it up here in a second. I know. I'm getting there. Relax. All right, so I'm going to put this is my screen. Hey, when I redo my shed and all that, I'll have a way better system of doing this. Okay, so we got to back this up. All right, let's go back to the top. This is an AI video. This is great. This is how good AI video is, right? This is what's going to happen when you type in, I want my Netflix movie to take place in the 80s. What? Yeah. This is what you're going to get with AI, folks. Are you guys having fun yet? This is perfect. This is what I want to watch when I tell Netflix what movie I want to watch. I want to watch these like a 50s movie. It takes place in time. Well, it starts in the 80s, so it's going to go back into the 50s style. And I like this part right here. Oh no! Don't kiss me, dude. Jeez. So this is what's going to take your jobs, folks. This shit. That's going to take your jobs. You're going to lose your job to that. Oh, but John, it's only the beginning days. It's only get better. No, it's not. I know what you're talking about. It's a masterpiece. It is. I mean, okay, maybe David Lynch is like, crap. I got to do a whole lot more transcendental meditation in order to get to that level of weird. Oh my gosh. Check out AI video, female athlete. I wonder much time they are on screen trying to be this perfect. You want to watch another one? Let's watch another one. I'll show you how good these are. These are so amazing, amazing AI videos, right? So here's another. It's my backyard, by the way. Here's AI. Oh, I love this one. AI. Here's an AI giving advice on how to set our campfire. That's wonderful. But here's the one. Oh, that was the one we just watched. Trump player. Here we go. This is amazing. This is what happens when you let AI. Yes. Yes, go into the fire. Here we go, guys. Yeah. Oh no. Well, there you go. But okay, what the hell? Dog. Yes! Explosions! Yeah, AI. Hollywood, watch your backs because they're coming after you with that shit. Oh my gosh. Oh, I've seen the one of the Rock eating. I've seen the Elon eating spaghetti and the Rock eating stuff. But like I used to get these people come on here and say, "Oh, John, there's your rebuttal. There's the rebuttal to that whole you're going to lose your job to AI. There's your rebuttal." So seriously, let's talk real quick seriously. I know. I'm being goofy. But yeah, John, it's going to get better. I think here's the problem. again, and I've talked about this before, and I know we always talk about how I get sick of talking about AI, but I get sick of talking about AI, but this is worth talking about. At least this is what I thought of when I watched those things. There are too many things in a movie for AI, for the way AI approaches the way it creates images. It creates images through a what's the most likely thing to happen, rather than creating a world in which you would render and populate and then exist. So it's like if I told you by hand, by scratch, model everything in this shot right now. Okay, model everything in this shot right now. It would take you a while. It would take you a while to model the glass. It would take you a while to model this stuff in the background. It would take you to model the lighting, the microphone. You have to model all of it, right? And at that point, you can move the camera around. You can create acting. And if it were to tell you to recreate a model of me, you create a meta-human of me, then you would animate me doing this with my fingers and doing that. It would take a lot of effort to model it and create that. And, and that's what the animation is. Animation is all that modeling and animating it, right? And then you can do a lot more with animation. The way AI produces these images does not take any of that count. So what I'm saying is a movie has so many more moving parts. There's, the set, the way physics works in the real world. So many moving parts, and AI just can't, by just be creating this generative, that's probably what would happen next, is not good enough to achieve that level of complexity. So instead we get these really weird morphing stuff because, and sure, it's got a dreamlike element to it, right? It's got a very weirdness, and I can't stop watching because they are so train wrecky, right? They're so much of a train wreck. But, they're the whole oh, bro, you're just going to like that one guy that always bugs me, the one AI creative droid or whatever, not creative droid. Curious Droid is cool, not the other guy. He's always like, and it'll be months before this is screen ready. Fuck no. It's not anywhere near screen ready. Not even close. Not even the same universe as screen ready. This is just, maybe for a David Lynch thing, maybe that's fine, but that's just so out there. All right. In this metropolis I live, the state of Paula in Brazil, people recently caught sight of a camera from OpenAI filming people in the streets in the feed Sora's database. No, that wasn't. There is a AI camera out there, and I saw some guy was talking about it. Basically, what it does is it captures footage with an infrared sensor of all things, and it feeds that to a stable diffusion or something like that. And it might be. Maybe OpenAI may have their own thing in it too. Right, so they are capturing stuff, and then they can feed it and generate footage right out of that. Fat Joe, who's Fat Joe? I don't know. I'm John. An insult injury got a recommendation for video saying something how to make your video look like it was shot on Panavision 70. Yeah, I don't know about that. All right, let's see. Quote going back to the auteur theory. I don't remember who said it, but there was an anime director who said something like there were directors around me who were better than me, but I got ahead of them because I was seen as an auteur. True. AI filmmaking would be perfect for Brazil. They have notoriously thick traffic there. Perhaps. I am getting hot. And I gotta wrap it up pretty soon because I gotta get to Costco before they close, but we'll wrap it up here in I'll go for another 6 minutes to 4:45 and we'll hang out for a little bit, and I'll come back next week. I'm going to try to squeeze as many live streams in this set as I have, because eventually I'm going to have to move out of here and probably streaming from my. So in the process, I gotta wait for my flooring, my upstairs flooring. I gotta clear out that room still, but I gotta wait for the flooring to get done, and then once the flooring's done, then I can finally move everything. But I'm also waiting on my internet service to be connected, because Frontier Communications came out and they put flags where all the cables were on my lawn, and that's it. They just walked away, and I call them, and I say, hey guys, you keep telling me for weeks that I need to get a phone call from your engineering team to install the cable line, but you haven't called me. And then they keep saying like, well, just hold tight. They'll call you. I'm like, no, they haven't called. It's been like 2 weeks. They haven't called. And I got so pissed off, and I was like, give me your supervisor on chat. Give me your supervisor in all caps. And then they finally put me on this hold for like ever, and I just gave up. After like 40 minutes, I just gave up. This is on chat. And they finally called me, and then the lady was like, oh, I can't understand what's going on. This is weird. Then I can't talk to. It's like, no shit. It's awful. So I'm waiting for internet to come in. Internet and flooring needs to be done. Then I can take my edit studio back to my house and start editing from home. But until then, I need to be here, which hopefully will be by the end of July. If not, I'll just have to have like a little lull in editing and be able to work off of like other hard drives and stuff. Anyhow, so excited to see the new studio. So am I. I can't wait. When people want to be fooled due to confirmation bias and uncritical assumption, deepfake doesn't even have to look remotely convincing. People scroll, they believe in fake news. They don't even believe in fake news. You can literally put a headline in an article that says the opposite of what the article says, and people will use that as evidence. So annoying. One thing I like about auteur theory is it prevents the design by committee by top and bottom. Yeah, that's true, but committee's still going to design. People still want to meddle. Still want to give you notes. Because here's I think the internet and auteurists give studio heads maybe a bad rap sometimes. Like sometimes you need someone in the office to kind of pull someone back. Because you can all imagine like an auteurist getting really loving the smell of their own farts to the point where, well, that's what that movie Synecdoche, New York was kind of about, right? Like you grant him this masterpiece award, he becomes so self-absorbed that he never finishes his thing. It becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Sort of like the movie. It's in a weird meta state, the movie got to the point where it became incomprehensible. But anyhow, I'm getting dried out and tired in this podcast. So I've been losing subscribers. I think because people subscribe and they're like, "Oh, he does live streams. Fuck off." He doesn't yell at movies. So I don't know. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm just going to have fun with you guys and chat and talk about stuff, and it'd be damned whether the numbers are high or not, because it don't matter. Trey Parker and Matt Stone are making a new musical film with Kendrick Lamar. I think it's about slavery. Oh my gosh. That's going to be... It's been a while since Book of Mormon, so they need to come up with something. Having all the teamwork in the division, no matter how strange it is, can yield creative results. Exactly. If they're coming from the right place, and it takes the director so like you remember, like a director may have crazy ideas and spit stuff out, and a producer might come back and say, whoa, hold on, why don't we take this out? And it's incumbent on the director to sometimes pull back as well. And it's like, well, I agree, you might have a point, but I disagree about that thing. I saw a video about Bill Hader. That was really good. I thought it was from the screenwriting. It was like one of the screenwriter reels. And Bill Hader was saying, like, if you show something to your friend and they say something's a problem, they're almost always right. But their solution to how to fix your problem is almost always wrong. And I thought that was kind of insightful. If they see something as an issue, they're almost always right. The problem is they don't know the story as well as you do, so their solution is never going to be as good as something you have to come up with. So I really liked that little short video. One of the worst things about social media is how people are trying to sell false visions of their lives as perfect, and yet Google is advertising, hey, edit out anything inconvenient in your photos. There you go. Or just become, or just work, for 20 years trying to become a very good photographer and cinematographer. And that way, when I post stuff from my day, it looks like my life is amazing. Google is openly encouraging advertising. Perhaps the most toxic aspect of social media is a great feature. I don't think that's the most toxic aspect. I think it's the worst toxic aspects of social media. I think what we've got to come to a point where we realize, just like I know that if I went and had like a triple cheeseburger every single day of my life, a triple cheese, triple burger with loaded fries and bacon, and if I had that every day, and I just that's all I ate was that in a shake, and then like if I ate that 3 times a day. If I did that 3 times a day, I'd probably be dead. Like, I get that, right? I understand that for my own physical health, eating that way would be problematic. Let's be honest, right? Now, for all the talk that we have about mental health, for all the discussion we have about mental health in this world, because I go to a lot of like these school functions, and it's always, make sure you got mental health. Make sure you're healthy on your mentals. Your mentals need to be healthy, right? For all the talk about mental health, what do we understand about how we consume social media? How much do we understand what we're doing to ourselves? How much do we understand when we sit there on the phone and just scroll through reels? Yeah. Yeah. Mm. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm. Like I've been on a date with my girlfriend was just scrolling through Instagram on a date. I'd be like, there's nothing more awful than sitting with somebody, trying to be in the moment with somebody, and they're in this bullshit. Like, hey, I eat Instagram. I eat this stuff too. All right. But I know, damn it, I got to get off and I got to get off the couch, stop looking at this shit, and do something with my life. And do something. Right? Do something. And I feel like we push this idea of mental health. And yet we don't recognize the fact that sitting around and watching reels and this live stream, although as I'm trying to spit truth at you, may not, maybe I'm trying to do it more responsible. I don't know. That doing this is not healthy. It's not healthy. Tell that to the guy that eats 2 Big Macs a day. You know that whole we found out that the whole Super Size Me documentary was a complete freaking fraud because the guy's an alcoholic. Like, there's a section in that movie where he goes to his doctor, and his doctor's like, your liver is severely damaged. It's like, how could that be? I'm a healthy vegan, and I started eating McDonald's. It's like, yeah, because you're also a drunk. And you didn't share that with us. And you made this whole video about this people. Now people hate McDonald's. Look, the Big Mac is not the worst thing in the world. If you look at the Big Mac, okay, I'm going to get my freaking soapbox here. Big Mac nutritional facts. All right. McDonald's Big Mac is 590 calories, according to their website. Let's see. It's 590 calories, total carbs, 46 grams of carbs, 25 grams of protein, 34 grams of fat. So, it's not saturated fat, 56% of your daily. So it's got a lot of saturated fat. That's not good. But as far as calorie wise, 590 calories. It's not that much. Like compared to, I don't know, In-N-Out nutritional facts. Let's pick I'm going to go a double with double with onion proteins. There we go. So double onion at In-N-Out is 550 grams. Double with onion is 610 calories. 300 calories from fat, total fat 34 grams, and saturated fat 15. So it's very comparable to a double with onion, and yet McDonald's is now viewed as this awful shorthand for saying you eat the worst crap in the world. And people in California love their In-N-Out. And like, oh, I don't know, it's amazing stuff. It's the same damn thing. It's the same burger. But thanks to thanks to the late great, what's his name from Super Size Me, everyone equates McDonald's to just awfulness. And it's like, it's the same thing. Just moderation, dude. Just be moderate with what you eat. So, I think the whole point was basically it's time for people to become a little bit more serious about what they consume mentally and to understand what they are doing to themselves if they consume social media of influencers and watching all these beautiful people and their beautiful lives. Okay, before I go, and I gotta get going here, but there's one channel on YouTube that I see them on shorts, and I watch shorts once in a while, but I hate them because of their name, and the name of their channel is called Content Machine, and when I see that, I just hate that. I feel dirty. I feel nasty. I feel so nasty. Ugh. Yeah, the sugar and Coke and the carbs and the fries are the worst. I agree. I totally agree with that. I want to see Dr. Strangelove with my aunt and uncle in theater. My aunt was on her phone a lot of the movie, and it says the worst movie she's ever seen in her life. Well, Jack, you know what just looking at your profile photo, you need to know what you need to do. You know what you need to do, and you need to basically purify our essences. Miyazaki once said the problem with the anime industry is that it's made of many humans who can't stand looking at other humans. Good old animation for you. The nice thing about American burgers is that it is made to make you full. Fries and sugar don't do that. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I'm trying to cut carbs, although I'm not always good at it, but I'm trying to cut carbs. The actress of 11 Stranger Things said that she doesn't like the films or TV shows. She said that unless she's using her phone or doing something. Yeah, but the actress in 11 is not somebody I would consider a filmmaker. Like, she is Millie Bobby Brown. Like, I think there is an air about her that no one really, I don't know. There's a lot of I don't get a good vibe from her. Like, I get a good vibe from Bill Hader. Bill Hader is like, I would have a man crush on Bill Hader all day long. I would hang out with Bill Hader in a heartbeat. I love that guy. But Millie Bobby Brown, not really my thing. Yeah, people would rather consume content than, well, people got to eat their vegetables. People got to eat their vegetables. On the other hand, her boyfriend loves films and TV shows, and he's around the same. Yeah, so Millie Bobby Brown is just someone that doesn't seem to be very influenced artistically. Anyhow, on that note, I need to go to Costco because I love you. Every time I go to Costco, I go out through the self-checkout line, because self-checkout is where her boyfriend's John Bavoui. I don't know. I don't know this gossip shit. So, but yeah, I go through the checkout and it's like, "Welcome to Costco. Please insert your membership card." And I hear Costco because they always pronounce the T. Costco. Because there is a company called Costco, which is a shipping company, but Costco. I always hear, "Welcome to Costco. I love you." Now, you know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not drunk. You are. All right, I'm hot. I'm not drunk, but I'm hot as hell. So I will talk to you guys later. I'm going to keep working tonight. But we will talk soon. We'll talk next week, and I'll probably still be on the set before I tear it all down. And yeah, we will see you next time. Filmmaker IQ. Live streaming now. Used to be huge, but now he just live streams, at least for the time being. Eventually we'll go back to actually making some videos. Oh my gosh, what a revelation. All right, we'll talk to you later. Take care now. Bye-bye.